Good morning. Yes, today is finally the day. It is the Europa League draw. Just, lovely Europa League draw right there. After a very lengthy and very drawn out process, Nottingham Forest have been confirmed to be competing in the 25-26 Europa League competition, swapping places with Crystal Palace after some MCO issues with Olympic Lyon. But that's all behind us now. We've turned our focus to not only the Premier League, which is already underway, but the upcoming competition. And today, we will find out our first 8 opponents for the league phase. We're in pot 3, so we're going to have to go through a couple of teams first, but I'm fucking ready for this. I cannot wait. I'm so excited. A quick rundown of how the Europa League works if you are unaware. The competition starts with a league phase. This is quite a new addition from last season, I believe, where teams play 8 matches, 4 away and 4 at home. The teams that finish in the top 8 of this competition will be automatically qualified for the last 16, with the teams between 9th and 24th competing in the preliminary knockout playoffs to determine which sides will progress to the round of 16. It's then business as usual from there, as we go all the way up to the final, which takes place in Turkey in May. In Istanbul, if I'm not mistaken. Book the hotel, boys. Book the hotel. Now, at the time I'm recording this, the draw has not even started yet. So I thought it'd be a fun little idea just to run through a little list of who I'd like to have drawn. 8 teams I've picked that I'd just like to face, really. Now, just to be clear, I am not fussed if we draw any of these teams or not. This is just what I'd like to see personally. I'm not going to turn my nose up at any European opponent. I'm just very happy for the opportunity to watch Forest compete in Europe for the first time ever in my life. So, I'm excited. If we get any of these teams, I'll be happy. But even if we don't, I'm still going to be happy because we're playing in Europe, baby. But for my ideal draw, I would like to play Rangers at home, although a trip to Ibrox would be class as well. I do not support either of the old firm clubs, but I'd love to play them. And the Europa League is the perfect opportunity for that. Please give me Rangers. I would also like to face Roma away. A trip to the Italian capital to face the iconic Roma would just be an amazing away day. The Stadio Olimpico is a ground that I would just love to visit. And if Forest are playing there, that's even better. And then from pot 2, I've got Lyon at home. And I just think that playing Lyon would be quite funny, to be honest. Lyon are the club that I mentioned earlier who caused Forest to replace Palace in the Europa League due to John Textor being judged to have too much influence within both teams. I think a game against Lyon would be comical to say the least, and I don't think Palace fans would enjoy that one. The other pot 2 side would be Celtic away. Yes, the other old firm side are here as well. I think a trip to Celtic Park would be a brilliant experience. I know that I've put both Scottish teams down here. I'd be happy if we got either of them, to be honest. But if I had to pick one to visit, it would be Celtic. They've got a European Cup as well, lads. They're in the club. And then from pot 3, I've picked the Young Boys at home. Pause. Now, jokes aside, there's no real reason behind this pick other than they have extensive European experience. And I think they'd give us a good game under the lights at the City Ground. They also have a funny name and funny stadium name too, so that gives them bonus points. Young Boys playing at the Wankdorf Arena. Crazy stuff. My other pot 3 team has been Basel. I like Basel as a team, to be fair, and I think a trip to the St. Jakob Park and the city of Basel as a whole would just be lovely. And finally, from pot 4, I've picked Panathinaikos at home. This one could be a very tasty clash. As I'm sure you're aware by now with all the transfer drama this season, Nottingham Forest are owned by Mr. Marinakis. And Marinakis also owns the Greek side Olympiakos, current reigning champions. Panathinaikos are Olympiakos' fiercest rivals, and they play out the derby of eternal enemies whenever the two meet in Greece. I suspect the atmosphere for this clash would be lively, maybe not as lively as the derby, but with another club owned by Marinakis, there's going to be some animosity there. And the City Ground would be rocking. But I'm more likely to get home tickets, so that's why I've picked them at home. Just going to have them there. That's really all that is. And finally, the final team from pot 4, Malmo. Now this one is for old time's sake. We've already played Malmo. That was back in 1979. And that was the game that earned us our first European star, as we beat the Swedes 1-0. it would be poetic to play them once again after so many years with our return to Europe. There are still surviving players from both sides as well, so maybe they could be involved in this game somehow as well. I think that'd be very nice. Hey, that's what I'm looking for. Right then, so those are the teams I would like to see. I'd like to see us face. But let's see who we actually get, shall we? The draw is about to begin, so I'll join you once we've been through it. Let's have a look, shall we? Alright, so the draw has just concluded, and we have been drawn against these 8 sides. We have Real Betis away, FC Porto at home, Braga away, Fenerbache at home, Sturm Graz away, Midtjylland at home, FC Utrecht away, and Malmo at home. You know what? I love that. Bloody love that, me. You know, I may have only predicted one correctly, and I didn't even get the venue correct. Welcome back to our old friends Malmo, and there are some other clash draws in there as well. Let's take a look at them. So yeah, it looks like our first clash will be Real Betis in Spain. And to be fair, they were a team I was planning to add to my little prediction, but Roma and Rangers just beat them to the punch from pot 1. But I'm still very happy with that. I audibly cheered when I saw we'd be playing them, so that's lovely. And a trip to Spain will be very enjoyable for those who can get tickets. Hopefully I'm one of them, even though I doubt it. Our first European game back against Real Betis. Lovely stuff. And then for our first home game of the competition, we have FC Porto. And they were another side that I was planning to add to my prediction, but again, beaten out by Roma and Rangers. Welcoming the Portuguese side to the City Ground as our first European opponents at home in 30 years is going to be special. Porto are a good side and will be able to give us a good game under the lights on the banks of the Trent as European football finally returns to Nottingham. And I'm so excited. I don't know how I'm going to react when I finally hear that Europa League theme echoing through the City Ground, but my God, it's going to be special. I'm so ready for this. And it's against Porto as well. Quality team. This is what it's all about. The next team to face is Braga, so we still get a visit to Portugal, and it's an absolutely beautiful stadium that we'll be visiting. Braga consistently finish in the top 5 of the Portuguese league, but rarely have enough to unseat the big 3. That being said though, it should still be a really good game. They've got European pedigree as well, and I'm sure the Estadio Municipal de Braga will be rocking. So it's quite a small stadium though, so not many Forest fans there, but I'm sure the ones that were there will bring the noise. Our next clash and second one at home is against Fenerbache, and they're actually the reigning Hungarian champions and have been for a number of years, and it'll be a joy to welcome them to the City Ground. Now I can't lie, I do not know much about Fenerbache. I don't follow Hungarian football, but I like to say their name, and they're actually managed by Robbie Keane, which I did not expect to find out today. Either way, I'm sure it's going to be a good clash in Nottingham, and hopefully we'll give them a run for their money. Our next clash is against Sturm Graz, who are the reigning Austrian champions, and we'll be visiting them at the Merkur Arena for some European football under the lights in Graz. Again, I don't know much about Sturm Graz, but I'm sure they give us a good game in Austria. They played in the Champions League last season. They didn't progress, but they still played in it, so yeah, should be a good game. And they're actually on the up recently. They've, reclaimed the Austrian crown after a couple of seasons where they weren't really doing so well. They're back on top now. Next up, we have Midtjylland of Denmark. Apologies for my pronunciation there. This clash was written in the stars. In case you're unaware, Philip Billing has recently signed for the Danish side, and I just know he's going to haunt us once again. Lovely. Luckily, we're hosting at the City Ground, so we've got the home side advantage there. Should be a good clash though. Hopefully we can win. Hopefully we can do it. But you just know that there's some juju about this game that means Forest aren't going to win here. That's followed up by a trip to Utrecht to face FC Utrecht, in case you couldn't guess. Again, I don't know much about FC Utrecht, but I do know that Sebastian Haller plays for them, and he was pretty good when he played for Dortmund, so that's something at least. He also beat Cancer, which is very admirable. They've had a very successful European qualifying campaign, unbeaten in their last 6 European matches, I believe. So should make for a good game in the Netherlands. It's always a joy to play sides that you don't really know much about, so you're really surprised with what they offer. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I mean, hopefully we can do a number against them, but they're doing well in Europe so far, so maybe that might go against us. But fingers crossed we can get the job done. Finally, Malmo at home. At least I got this one correct, even if they are visiting us and not the other way around. But it should still be a very enjoyable experience, and hopefully we invite some of the surviving members of either team's cup final teams to make it a really special occasion, because I think that's what it deserves. You know, we played them to win our first European trophy. We're playing them again on our first time back in Europe. Just makes sense. Should be a special occasion, that game. Hopefully we've already qualified by then, but you never know. Could make for an even more special clash. Looking forward to this one the most, I think. This one and Porto at home, both home side clashes. I'm hopefully going to get to both of those games, so yeah, looking forward to it. All in all, I'm very happy with the draw, and just looking at the clashes at face value, I think we'll be able to qualify from these ties. Hopefully we make the top 8, but even finishing between 9th and 24th would be a good achievement, as we still be in the competition, and it's our first time back in Europe, so, you know, the more games we play, the better, I think. Maybe not for the squad itself, but we've strengthened as well, so should be okay. I am just so excited for our upcoming European adventure. And it's actually just truly set in these past couple of days, you know, gearing up to the draw and actually seeing the ties we're going to be playing in. Oh my god, the excitement is just an all-time high. The Reds are back in Europe, and hopefully we can go deep in this competition. We've started the season well. There's been a bit of drama behind the scenes, but this is Nottingham Forest we're talking about. That's just part of the course. We've strengthened the squad. I'm looking forward to it. Whatever happens here, it's going to be very special to see Forest in Europe. Again, for the first time in my lifetime and a lot of supporters' lifetimes. I just can't wait. Hearing the Europa League theme in the City Ground as we face Porto is going to be so special. I've got goosebumps just thinking about it. I can't wait. That's all I can say. I cannot wait for those nights under the lights at the City Ground. My god, it's going to be good. You Reds.